Welcome to The Watching Dead, the officially unofficial podcast for The Walking Dead on AMC. Can I even say that anymore? Can I even say that The Walking Dead is on AMC anymore?
It's The Walking Dead universe now.
Oh, you're right. This was it.
Well, duh.
This was it, man. This is the final episode of The Walking Dead. It still feels like a dream. I'm like sleepwalking through this whole thing. I don't understand how it could be coming to an end after 12 plus years of this show. I don't know. That's it. It's called Rest in Peace.
Do you feel like Kevin Garvey at the end of The Leftovers? Do you feel like Frodo at the end of Lord of the Rings? Like it's finished? Are you at peace? Are you happy? Are you glad? Are you sad it's over? Are you glad that it happened?
All I know is we're the ones who live, and we survived The Walking Dead.
We ain't The Walking Dead for sure.
We ain't them, yeah, for sure.
I love it. There, but for real, quit, no cap, as my son says. What did you think of this finale?
Walking Dead died like it lived, which is like occasionally good, mostly bad. Good acting propping up like mediocre writing, and undercut by poor directing. It felt like they hit a decent out on this, and I don't feel cheated in any way. I mean, other than spending 12 years of my life talking about the show, hundreds of hours talking about the show. I don't feel cheated by this finale. I feel like it delivered all the notes it needed to deliver. Didn't dwell too much on setting up spinoffs, which I was surprised by. I thought they'd spend a lot more time with Daryl, like making pleas to Carol to come with them, or Maggie and Negan like teaming up. On.
He's got a baguette and a beret. Come on,
think of the bread. The cheese. My God, the cheese. It didn't spend any time doing that. I think they're kind of letting the shows that are going to be part of the Walking Dead universe in the future set all that stuff up, and I think that's a smart move.
And they did not do it. There was a good amount of setting that stuff up and setting those relationships up, but they felt, for the most part, paying off.
Yes,
season-long arcs that were probably written to, that eye. But series-long
arcs. I mean, the Daryl and Carol arc has been going on since season 2. So season 1, the entire show, and it felt like a really beautiful cap for that stuff, and also setting up the spinoff Daryl Dixon.
Yeah, I think that my man Daryl goes down. Has never been pinned down on an on-screen relationship. It's always been in the past, hinted at, but like he fucking swerved. He curved Connie so hard at the end there. She bounced off his atmosphere and is lost in space now.
He's even unencumbered by the relationship he had with Dog, who is nowhere to be found in this episode.
He is seen for 2 seconds, and they do mention that they're going to keep. There was a dog sighting, and I think Judith mentioned that they're going to look after him while she's gone. But there's a lot of This is a messy baby of an episode, but honestly, it paid off better than I thought. Like the last 2 weeks, I was really bracing for this being a total shit show of your princess is another castle. The show's actually going on these other things, and it wasn't that, but it also I felt like it got a pretty satisfying send-off, and I think what made it work is a crazy, spectacular pyrotechnic middle part of this episode that essentially finishes the definitively all plots and all open questions, and gives the people what I really wanted to see, that end where they're all just kind of happy and peaceful and relaxed. There's a thing that happened in the first third of this episode that I thought was going to be impossible to recover from. Like something so phenomenally stupid, the Supermom sequence with Rosita, that actually I still feel that way about, but I felt like the show paid the iron price for it.
Okay.
I was also like, dude, this show reduced me to tears at the end, and I cannot explain it. I know I'm a big softie. I know I've dealt with a lot of I've dealt with some death in my recent past. If you don't know, my mother passed away just a few months ago. And last weekend I went with my sister up to my dad's to help him plan his estate, because we kind of got like, oh shit, this is something that we weren't ready for. We need to kind of get ready for it. And I spent a lot of time thinking about family and the people that we've lost along the way. And maybe that, but the second time when I watched, because I watched this episode twice, the second time I'm like, well, surely I got all that out of his system. No, the shit still hit me. The stuff with Rosita and Eugene, and just the fact that Rosita is kind of like Moses. She's going to die inside of the promised land. I don't know, that just really got to me. So like, it's crazy this stupid show was able to wring out this amount of emotion between that and Daryl and Judith and all that stuff. I was surprised at how kind of well it worked, even though it never stopped being The Walking Dead that I hate too.
Oh yeah, no, to the bitter end, it was that Walking Dead. But that Walking
shit.
Dead has been at times excellent because of the acting, and we've talked about it when it happens. My favorite scene in this episode is the Maggie and Negan conversation, where Maggie tells Negan, I'm never going to forgive you for what you did to Glenn, but you can stay in this community and just know that some days it'll be hard for me. I'm trying too. Negan says nothing in this scene, but he says everything he needs to say, which is exactly nothing. It's an amazing scene from two amazing actors, and The Walking Dead manages to pull those scenes out of its ass from time to time, and they have several of them in this episode.
It's because, as you said, they just, they're phenomenal actors. When we see some of the pedicures, some of the pedigrees, some of the pedicures too.
Negan's toes are looking tight.
Well,
tight
speaking of toes, like Rick's out there getting a mud treatment, getting a spa treatment at the banks of the zombie shores.
What the fuck's he doing? Yeah, we'll
swishing
talk about
hot
that.
mud between his toes. Yeah, his toes were looking well. No, the pedigree that these people have, like Seth Gillum, veteran of The Wire, one of my favorite shows of all time. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who's been so good, and I'm almost glad that we came back just to see. I don't think I've ever seen him do anything where he shows vulnerability or any gear other than just confident badass. And the work he did with Lauren Cohen, I thought was pretty astonishing.
Yeah.
And if you'd asked me that, like, they would that the cornerstone of this fucking episode would be a tearful goodbye between a pork sandwich and the action Barbie. That, by the way, I was introduced to those two when he would watch her get railed by Abraham.
Yeah.
On a semi-nightly like the idea that they would get actually salty tears out of this guy for that, I would have said you're a damn liar. But they did.
Yeah, it's a great scene. I always appreciate. Like, I have a feeling when it comes to these emotional scenes that less is more, and so I really love those scenes where there isn't so much of a reciprocation of dialogue. It's more just like a character listening to another character pour their heart out. And feeling that with them, but not necessarily trying to inject themselves into it or anything like that. And they get a couple of those scenes, like Rosita, when Eugene is saying like how much she has meant to him. She doesn't say much, but she lets it come through in her expression. And I'm super impressed by those scenes.
And for to the extent that they do set up the next series, there was enough that I think is intentional meta irony in the way they did it that I thought it was funny. Like, for example, if they wanted to get across the idea that Denai Guerrera filmed these scenes in between takes on Wakanda Forever, they couldn't do a better job than having her show up in the outfit she did.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Faux chainmail, leather.
That's this close to being a Wakanda Forever super suit.
Yeah, it's great.
And two, the fact that like Daryl and Carol have a conversation about how like, hey, we're supposed to have a series together. I'm not going to come. It'll be better for both of us. Like, I just thought that was like, I don't know if that's intentional, if that's just the way it worked out, but it just brought a smile to my face to see, Denai with her sword and this goofy armor she's wearing, and she's riding off into the eternal horde of Valhalla or whatever. I thought some of that stuff was pretty entertaining. And I also felt like this show let a little bit of the money out of the coffers, and they had a stupendous special effects sequence They had amazing music throughout. I think that's one of the reasons that it worked. Yeah. It's like Bear, like I think has phoned it in for a while. In fact, I've been noticing a lot of episodes are Bear McCreary and some other guy where it's like, I don't even know if he's even scoring, but I know he came back. Did you notice that in the intro, it sounded a little bit different? Because it turns out
I almost never watched those, but I did this time and it was very different. Yeah.
They got a studio orchestra or a symphony orchestra to do the thing with him, and you can hear how much fuller and richer. Yeah. And I think that kind of excitement carried into the rest of the score because it was like on fucking point in all the exciting stuff and all the dramatic stuff. But yeah, there's also a good amount of stupid shit. But I gotta say that, against all odds, because especially if you had told me Greg Nicotero was directing this thing, I'd have been like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, why are we even bothering to watch? It's not gonna pay off anything. It's gonna be shitty." I thought, again, grading on a Walking Dead curve, this was a pretty good finale. I felt satisfied.
I felt the Nicotero effect in this episode. I was very confused by the hospital sequence and how that all met up with the other stuff that was going on. And I don't think it does. I think this is one of those Nicotero hallmarks where just fucking plaster over it and hope nobody notices.
Yeah.
And none of it actually makes sense. But we'll talk about that in more detail when we get there. But it's not by no means a perfect finale. I think there's a lot of stupid stuff The Walking Dead is known for. And we'll talk about all that in great detail, I'm sure.
Before we get to, what did you think about the amount of deaths in this episode? Because the thing that we talked about how the really big pieces were off the table, you couldn't touch. What do you think of but there were some big deaths, I think. Maybe lowercase b, lowercase d, but I thought just what did you think of the amount? Were you surprised that they didn't totally clean house? Did you? I felt like maybe they left one on the table.
Curious which one, because I felt like Luke, it almost felt ridiculous to bring Luke back at this point and then just kill him off.
Right.
He had no effect on the story.
That felt like cheating, even though they went for fucking broke. Oh my god.
It's like if they brought Heath back and then immediately killed him the next episode. Like,
kinda. Almost that bad.
Pointless.
Yeah. Or Morgan, yeah.
Sure. I think Rosita is the most affecting one.
Oh, but for sure.
Which one do you think they left on the table?
I think they could have offed Lydia. I think they could have offed Aaron. Okay. They needed one more. They needed one more to make it feel like
Jerry.
Oh, Jerry. They need to leave Jerry on the table.
It would be impactful.
Though I thought Ezekiel was well done. I actually was kind of thinking that we might get a Carol sacrifice, since like I don't know how far in advance they knew that she's bowing out. But like, since her and Kang were kind of attached to the hip of that project, I thought that like that might be an interesting way to just kind of write her out of the show. But I feel like they're going to have her back as a very special guest, probably in season 1 of the Daryl show.
They could, yeah,
because she even said on the show like, "Oh yeah, we'll see each other again." So that I imagine, I don't know, like, and that's the other thing is I wonder, it seems like they're sending everybody on a trajectory where they plausibly would never come back to Alexandria again.
Yeah, I mean, especially
so they don't,
once you taste the bread and cheese in France.
Yeah, and even if they want to go back to Alexandria, they could like drag Nabila out of retirement and be like, "Oh, where's Jerry? Oh, he's off with the kids, and Carol, oh, she's making stew." Like, like they could just, they don't have to have like
she's
a big
chasing
name
a mouse
to sell
around the kitchen,
right? Do you think they're going to keep all these sets? Like, is Alexandria going to be? Are they going to keep that going?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
No, I can't see how that would be. There's no profit in it for them. I would assume that AMC would rather abandon that set, not pay for the maintenance on it.
And book some sessions with the volume,
and then go in and post however sloppy it needs to be, and
green screen
recreate Alexandria out of cardboard and green screen.
Because I'm probably going to watch a few of these spinoffs just for shits and grins, and I'm expecting they're going to be cheap as hell. I'm expecting sci-fi, sci-fi era levels of cheapness.
How much?
Like a notch above Sharknado.
How little outdoors adventures do you think Dead City is going to have in it? Because that's where it gets expensive, right? The indoor stuff you could do all fucking day. You could just say, hey, we're in New York and we're inside of a building.
Well, everything I've seen is nighttime, and even the street stuff you could do in a soundstage. So probably a lot. Probably most of it.
Yeah.
Very little. What are you going to do on location? How the hell would you do on location Brooklyn, Manhattan scenes?
Right. For the amount of money that AMC wants to spend, come on.
Shoot it dead for live or whatever you call it. Yeah, like that's going to be...
Sure. Shoot it crowded for empty. Yeah.
Right. Because at this point, to do it right, you'd also have to almost do it as a period piece, because this show started 20 years before. So like you can't have, you'd have to kind of get a whole bunch of shitty Ford Tauruses and... you couldn't have all new. Although I don't know, they've really relaxed that. I'm pretty sure I've seen some 2017 Kia Sorrentos driving around that shouldn't be there. But
yeah, I mean, if you were going to do the obligatory Times Square shot in New York, you'd have to edit out Guy Fieri's restaurant.
Right,
because that ain't there 20 years ago.
Make sure the Broadway is showing the right things that they did in the box. But I guess that's the other thing. It wouldn't surprise me if they have a couple establishing shots, because you kind of have to. You have to have at least one big budget.
Totally.
Yeah. Because if you're not going to have Times Square falling to the dead, then what the fuck are you even doing?
Right. Like, it's always Times Square. That's the New York shot.
No one put a gun to your head and said, you know where Negan and Maggie's got to go? The most expensive location on the planet to film. That's where they got to go.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how all those go. I might check one out just for shits and grins, but
yeah, I definitely want to. And then like I said, they made it easy on me because I'm not going out with from a place of hatred. Honestly, I saw because I went into the official, or not the official, I guess the subreddit, the Walking Dead subreddit, and there's a lot of people that are shitting on Angela Kang and her era. I think that season 9 through the end of season 10 is, if not a golden age, a silver age of The Walking Dead, where someone made as much chicken salad from chicken shit as they possibly could. And if you want to accuse her of phoning in vast stretches of season 11 after they jerked her around on a spin-off project and they changed the filming location and boxed her, like, and they robbed her of a free hand of writing this thing because they said, oh, the five most popular characters, don't worry about doing anything with them because we're going to spin them off. I think she did a hell of a job. And I know she's doing something for the MCU now on Disney Plus. I actually am super interested in that project because I would like to see what she does with a decent budget without people that, and I know that Marvel and the Disney Plus stuff isn't perfect.
Oh, no.
But they're a whole level different from heads up their asses than the AMC folks. Who they're willing to spend money shoulder deep, Yeah,
and I will say I'm not disappointed by this season thematically. I think they had a vision for where they were going with this Commonwealth stuff, and they landed there, in my opinion.
I thought it made a lot, like it the thesis for like when is it go time? It seems to me it's like, well, you should try to come up with a peaceful resolution until whatever powers that be make it impossible. They've engineered a situation. It's such a clusterfuck that everything's falling apart anyway. And people got no one really overthrew Pamela. She just fucked things up so bad that they were forced to remove her from power. And I feel like,
and when you do gain the power back, you don't have to be those people that you were fighting, right? You don't have to become them. We ain't them.
You don't. I do think it's interesting they yada through the first year, and they just came back to like they couldn't even write a good the world's best political speech. It was just a Tenacious D tribute, Pretty fucking hard to write the greatest political speech in the world. No, that was just a tribute. Yeah, do you want to get into it, or we got some other? I mean, we spent 20 minutes just on our general impressions.
Yeah, I'm ready to talk about the episode proper.
Let's go to work. Let's tune this episode up. Hey, don't shamble off. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back, survivors. Here's even more of The Walking Dead.
All right, we start with Daryl taking Judith to the hospital for her gunshot wound, which, if you forgot, she was shot last episode by Pamela Milton herself. He's knocked out by troopers who leave him for the approaching walkers to devour. But Judith wakes up, struggles to her feet, blocks the hospital doors so the walkers can't get Daryl, and then also passes out on the floor next to him.
Yep. Last vestiges of her little girl got shot strength. She's able to barricade them in.
The last bit of oxygen that's reaching her brain from her dwindling blood flow, blood supply. Yeah. Good for her. That was awesome.
Yeah, I like that Judith continued to be heroic in this episode.
Little ass kicker. Yeah.
Little ass kicker.
Saves big ass kicker. The other group of survivors, there are several groups at this point. I don't know. This is the one with Luke in it. They were the ones who kind of gave Daryl the space to get Judith to the hospital. They attempt to fight off the herd in the lower ward. Luke, in the process, is bitten, and Jules is just devoured, completely eaten by the dead.
Got another quality, someone ripped apart screaming, like spectacular zombie kill, spectacular zombie death. That the season has delivered on that front. I don't know if we talked about last week, but the full body explosion by train. I've never seen a zombie hit by a train. Seeing that scene just made me disappointed. It made me retroactively disappointed because we couldn't drive it through a whole herd.
Yeah. Why? You got a train? You got one of the most powerful vehicles on the planet. Use it to plow over some walkers.
Yeah, give them enough budget to do the big explosion in this episode and them driving through a herd on the train. Yeah, that would have been I would have been super satisfied, but
it's okay. The explosion was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was wild that like when Jules got like, oh, well, that makes sense, but then his leg got bit, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is like first 5 minutes of the episode. We're getting some. We're putting some names at risk.
But they just let him. They just let him turn. They just let him bleed out. Like, you can't forget that Lydia was bit last episode on the arm.
No, they did take his arm. They took his leg off. It just didn't work.
It didn't work. He was bit
when they
ankle.
pan up he's missing his leg from the knee down.
Did he just die of blood loss then?
They have like a bloody bone saw in his lap, and yeah, I think he just dies of blood loss.
How does Lydia not die of blood loss in a fucking RV in the middle of a herd?
That's a really good question.
But no one Luke's in a hospital?
Yeah. Well, but they did.
I know they took all the supplies,
materials. Yeah. No one had a belt on, apparently.
Yeah, they used the last belt on Lydia. Yeah.
He's just in poor physical condition overall.
This is probably true.
Yeah.
So Daryl wakes up to find the survivors patching all of their wounds. He's been patched up. Carol tells him that the medicine and doctors are gone, taken by Pamela to her gated community, the Estates. Daryl wants to go there, but Carol says they're waiting to see if they can get Mercer to let them in. The only people who've ever cared about Luke watch him die. I think it's conspicuous that it's like literally just Connie, Kelly, Magna, Yumiko standing around him, and nobody else cares.
And I have not seen so much made from so little since Maggie saw her sister dead.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
These people were losing their shit in a way that I didn't get caught up in this one, but I almost did. And what I thought saved it is they kept on cutting back to Carol and Daryl, who I think you're supposed to understand feel bad, but don't know, like, or letting them have their moment. But it came off to me like when they were sharing glances at each other, like they're like, "This is a bit much, right?" For Professor for Professor Luke.
For a guy who spent the season on the bench.
The Stradivarius guy, like, I don't know. It's like, every time I cut to like Carol kind of like half rolling her eyes or something, I'm like, that's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
I think we're trying to remember who he even is. Because these people haven't seen him in ages, right? Like, he went to Oceanside 2 seasons ago.
It's been since the midpoint in season 9, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So they probably don't even remember him. They barely spent time with him anyway. So Daryl gives Judith a blood transfusion, which is interesting. And then they hear a struggle outside and go to check it out.
The other thing I'd like, I love bagging on Magna, and I want to do it at least 2 more times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is with her off-menu zombie stick that she gives to Luke? Did she even stab him, or did she fake stab him as a joke? because they pass her the knife and she takes the knife, and I thought she's going to jab at the base of the skull or side. It goes off camera, and she did she slit the back of his neck? I don't know what she actually does. I don't know that I saw brain penetration happen here.
You definitely don't see it. I think it's implied that she put it through the base of his skull into his brain.
I think she fucked it up as a joke.
Maybe.
Because she's a piece of shit. It's Magna. She's a huge piece of shit.
Yeah.
I also, like, when they handed him that bloody harmonica, I would have paid good money if he'd have done, like, the sickest runaround harmonica solo, Blues Traveler style. If he just starts just wailing on that thing.
Or he tries to play it and it just shoots blood through it. It just sprays the
bubbles of blood coming out. Then That
would have been amazing.
But they're going to promise to keep the music alive for the Music Man. I forgot that was his whole shtick.
Me too. Yeah. Daryl, man, what are you doing? I'm pretty sure you shouldn't give a blood transfusion standing up. That seems like a recipe for disaster.
Well, that's like they're biting a little hard on the Lost thing. This just gave me big Jack vibes, where he's got what the hell did he do? He gave a blood transfusion with what do they call those spiny fish? An urchin.
Yeah.
He used an urchin spine to give a blood transfusion. So not all the medical supplies were gone, by the way. There was some surgical tubing and some IV needles that they missed in their inventory. But yeah, we found out that Daryl in the last episode of the show is O negative.
Right.
And I love because I'm like, okay, this is interesting because he's like, do you know how to do this? Here, let me. And like, how the hell do you? And then he explains that Merle used to sell his blood. And I'm like, well, of course he did. Of fucking course he did.
Amazing. I just found that hilarious.
Yeah,
older brother Merle forcing Daryl to spill his blood into what? Probably old beer cans. I don't know.
Or I thought you meant what they're actually going to put it into. But it's like, yeah, he's doing it all for the meth or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Lot lizards. I don't know what young Merle was into.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah, that was hilarious. So they hear that stroll outside. They go to check it out. And then we go over to Mercer, who paces in his cell. And then Princess and Max show up and bust him out. And they load up their weapons as the herd approaches. They find out that Aaron and Lydia are in that herd. And those two rejoin the group, and they all head out to the hospital.
I liked... because like when Max runs up to him and hugs him first, and I'm like, I guess that's fair. She's the sister and she's just the new girlfriend. But then Princess like gives him a hug like a fucking wave rolling in from the ocean. It's just like full on spider monkey, arms, legs. It almost knocks him off his feet. I thought that's pretty cute.
It is, yeah. And we need to take note that the regrouping is happening at the hospital here. And everybody, because this next scene, we'll see that Gabriel, Rosita, and Eugene are going to head to the hospital too. And that's where things get shaky. But do you have anything to say about Gabriel, Rosita, and Eugene finding Coco and just sort of grabbing her and heading back to the hospital?
I mean, how excited did you get when you realized they were at the children's home and the zombies might be? They were teasing zombie throughout this episode.
Yeah, no zombie to be found.
I thought this was pretty effective. I thought it was weird. Like, Gabe was really laid back this whole episode. Like, they get in there and like the zombies are everywhere eating stuff, and only Rosita is like, oh my god, my babe. Gabriel is just kind of like, I'll let her run off, and me and Eugene will just stick some zombies casually in the back of their head. She comes in there like one woman army mode, just like Terika, like just John Wick and everybody. There's this poor baby that's underneath a baby pin. I don't know how the hell this happened. There's a zombie in its face. I don't. Speaking of rest in peace, R.I.P. to this kid's hearing. Because Rosita's like letting off a dozen shots like 3 inches from this kid's skull, but she saves the baby, and I'm glad. Yeah.
No, I think it would have been sad if Coco died. Coco doesn't deserve it.
When did Eugene become a one-man killing machine? It's like they put this suit on him.
Machine? Yeah.
And I don't know which headline to go with, Plump Fiction or John Prick. Either way, he is a stone cold killer in this suit.
No, he's a badass.
What'd you like better? Would you go with Plump Fiction or John Prick?
I think I like Plump Fiction.
Plump Fiction? Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's a pretty good one. So Judith wakes up in the hospital. She's super worried about dying because her mom went to find Rick and she wants the family to get back together. It's short-lived, though, because she quickly passes out again. Rosita's group, did you want to talk about that scene? Or...
just
her speech.
I want to point out that Daryl, but I did want to point out Daryl doing the Shane strategy from the first episode for, the pilot episode where he barricades Rick into his suite.
Yeah.
It's funny that he does that and then 30 seconds later has to rapidly undo it all, but
right.
they got the reference in. I respect that.
No, I was worried that he was just going to leave her there for a long time while they were off taking the Commonwealth over. I'm like,
at the end of this, 6 weeks later, it goes back to, she's super skinny and dehydrated. Yeah, she's stumbling around in a nightgown.
Yeah. So Rosita's group is out back of the hospital with a busted ride. Carol says they have to go, so Daryl parks Judith in a room, locks the door, and then they try and keep the herd out, but they're everywhere. And one of these smart walkers breaks the window with a rock and they flood in. So they retreat out the back where Rosita and Gabriel and Eugene are going to extraordinary lengths to escape the walkers through a second-story window. I really love the thing, aside from locking Judith in a room and having to immediately undo that, I really love that they've conveniently picked up some random stragglers. So that somebody can be eaten in this scenario, but not anybody we care about.
Yeah, I have another nameless survivor goes down in the foyer. It's like...
Right? And I'm pretty sure they weren't even with the group until this episode. And then, I don't know, suddenly they show up.
There's 50,000 people that they could pick up in this town. It's no big deal.
Here's the thing.
You mentioned the zombie being smart, but... Mm-hmm. Wasn't that also a callback to the Guts episode where you had one zombie in the crowd that had a rock in its hand and that's how they got into the department store?
Yes, but they've reintroduced the concept, or I should say fresh introduction. Yeah. It's not a reintroduction. It's just a whole new wrinkle to walkers lately that they're smart. So I assume this was one of them.
Yeah. Nothing I don't other know. Than this, that's really the only, they were climbing and doing all kinds of things in other episodes. But this, it's we had the rock, and that's something that they did 11 seasons ago. So
no, all that smart walker stuff just feels like tie-ins to the other shows.
Set up for the next, because I hear they're going to do fast zombies, they're going to do clever zombies, they're going to be...
Sure.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this Rosita... Eugene, Gabriel escape through the second story window. In no world does Eugene have the upper body strength to get to that second story window. In no world.
And unless you're trying to fail, why do you let him go first?
I have seen Vertical Limit. I know that it is a tear. You always let the strongest climber go first because you are tethered to them. And
you want to give
if
the
you
best
fuck
chance
up,
of survival.
You don't want them hitting you on the way down.
This is a husband and wife, their child, and some other random baby that you're putting at risk, sending Plump Fiction, the guy I just dubbed Plump Fiction, and dress suit, and I guess I get that Gabriel's wearing his priestly smocks too. So it's it's not, none of these people are, save Rosita, are wearing what I'd call athletic attire.
Sure,
but that was so stupid because if Eugene dies, that's kind of the best outcome. In a lot of ways, but Rosita and Gabe survive. You get that, but yeah, she insists on not only just going first or second, but last, and she has Coco on her back. No, on her not on her back, strapped to her chest.
And if Eugene, notorious dumbass, falls on them, falls in the first in line, they're both dead. They're all dead.
It's over. Yeah, you won't have to worry about the zombies. You'll just be crushed. Speaking
of crushing, I cannot believe that Rosita does not crush this child to death. With the acrobatics she's pulling, she's climbing up this pipe. That's hard enough with a child strapped to your chest. And then she jumps from the ambulance to the pipe and somehow does not crush this child against a brick wall.
And it looked like they did that in real life with a stunt woman. So I thought that made that because that seemed ridiculous, but someone like really did it apparently. I don't know if they did a trick angle or what, but like I thought that looked pretty cool. And I was about to call bullshit because this is one of those things where it's like we talk about this a lot in the final season of Game of Thrones. Don't put someone in a situation where they cannot possibly survive and then have them survive. It's just
Glenn
stupid.
Dumpster, right?
It's something you can do, I guess, in the last episode of a series, but it's just something you shouldn't do. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, well, she explodes out of here, Neo from the Matrix style. And I'm like, well, you hear about these moms lifting, cars off their kids. They get these crazy strength and they're protecting their children and all that. And I'm like, it kind of looked cool. And I thought it was a neat stunt. And I was really getting, but it bothered me because it's like one of those things where it's like, well, why tease it? And then I felt like the show, it turns out, with the Game of Thrones reference, they paid the iron price. And like once I found out that she'd actually got bit in this scene, I thought on second watch, I thought it was pretty cool.
The trouble being, she's wearing 15 hoodies. Like she's wearing so many hoodies, so many layers of cotton and fabric and various things that there's no way she could get bit where they show her getting bit.
I tend to agree.
Like I watched that scene. I guarantee a walker couldn't bite through one hoodie, let alone the 4, 5, 8 layers she's wearing. She's so many layers.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've often remarked like a sturdy denim jacket or leather would completely defeat zombies, but they're peeling dudes out of whole suits of armor this season. What are you gonna do? Fair.
I guess they pulled down her hoodie and got their teeth in behind her neck. Yeah,
that's right. There's the smart zombie that went for the nape.
God, hoodies are designed to cover those areas specifically. Specifically.
No one said a job, but there was like 20 zombies to do it too. It's like only one of them had to get lucky,
True. Throw enough teeth at the problem, they'll get it done.
Yeah.
All right, here's where the episode gets.
Wait. The other thing is, I also? So they show Rosita falls, and Eugene's like, no, and he's just staring at. Gabriel is like, rest in peace, and he's on to the next one. He does not react at all.
Wait, no, he says, I'm coming, and he jumps back like he's about to rush down there and try and help her.
Oh, is that? Oh, I thought he just was like.
Unless he's talking to Jesus and saying, I'm coming.
He might be proof that he's not. No, I thought I didn't see that he's saying I'm coming. I thought he just like took a step from the window and was like going on. Like, she didn't make it.
She's done.
She didn't make it. I'm gonna be starting the off season unattached. No kids, no women. Gabriel's single and he's ready to mingle. But no.
Yeah, I think he was going to help her. Here is where the episode gets really rough for me. A lot of rough ground to run over here because everyone is just somehow at a train depot outside of the estates now. Like, last we knew, the group inside the hospital was headed out the back to where Rosita is, and that area is entirely overrun with walkers. We never see them escape the hospital. They're carting Judith on a fucking gurney. Mercer is inbound for the hospital, but we have no idea when or how he gets there.
I think you're supposed to understand that loading docks is the back of the hospital. It's the receiving area of the hospital. And it hasn't been surrounded by zombies. The front and sides are surrounded, but the rear has not been surrounded
up against
yet.
A train track?
Is it a train track?
Yeah, there's a train track there.
It looked like loading docks to me, like, where you get your, hospital mask deliveries and stuff.
I saw overgrown train tracks that they're walking on.
A lot of those on the sets of The Walking Dead.
I mean, if that's the implication, then why? Rosita says we're in the back alley of the hospital. So this butts up against not only.
How many backs are there to the hospital?
Exactly. The beast with 12 backs, this hospital, apparently.
I mean, you've seen a lot of hospitals. They are designed where there's multiple entrances and they're not exactly like saltine cracker boxes. They can have interesting shapes but yeah. I mean,
but how did Rosita and Eugene and Gabriel get there? Like, they don't know where everybody's headed, right? They're just in the back of the hospital waiting for them to get back. So
you're in the back
there.
of the hospital, right? Like a second before they're about to go to the state. Aaron and Lydia come shambling up out of the dead. Like, that's the other thing. This gut situation's gone way too far.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everybody just kind of magically shows up at the right time, and then everybody else being in the gate. I thought that was kind of cool, but yeah, I'll give you that. It is a little fuzzy, the geography.
Yeah, I thought super fuzzy, and they don't even try. It's not like they make an effort with a line of dialogue or something to say like meet us around the other back. Yeah, they just expect you to kind of say, I guess everybody got there.
If I'm being charitable, someone pointed out, I think I got this on Reddit a couple weeks ago, that there's someone internally in The Walking Dead made like a map of the Commonwealth where it has like, here's the estates and here's the lowers and here's the hospital and here's Father Gabriel's church and here's like all the different locations and how they're related. And maybe the production staff, like Nicotero, knows this area so well that they feel like they don't. You know, it's like sometimes people are really hard explaining concepts of stuff they know really well because they don't know like how to break it down or like, and maybe that's it. But like that's still pretty fucking bad. Like that's why you have, you know, people that supervise continuity and, you know, checking that kind of thing. Just sort of like, hey, did we tell the people what they need to know to enjoy this episode?
Yeah, and I mean the 90% of the way there, but that other 10% I feel is important. Yeah, so they're all. Out back the hospital, I guess, where the walkers apparently haven't found this back yet. Mercer's group loads up weapons and ammo as his guys arrive to help them breach the gates of the estates. They take Judith to the safe house that Mercer's guys have set up to be treated by Tommy, and he operates on her while Aaron patches up Lydia and tells her what to expect with her amputated arm. She's really down on life. She's worried about Casey Jones. Aaron, do you care about Lydia in these scenes?
I was surprised at how little I cared about Lydia because I kind of taken a shine to Lydia, but like I thought this conversation with Aaron was interesting because I thought it was ostensibly talking about phantom limb pain, but I think he's also trying to broach the topic of him losing his husband, and her losing Casey. It's like, you know. It'll surprise you how you'll feel it sometimes, but I thought it was a nice little double meaning conversation, and also the Aaron's just not ready to give up hope, which, you know, good thing because there's still hope in the air.
Yeah, this was just not the scene that affected me the most in this episode, by a long shot. Jerry shows back up too. I don't know if we talked about that.
Not yet. I
thought it was already.
He shambles in with the people from the gates.
Oh, okay.
They do talk. She is. You might have in the notes. She's scared that Jerry and Casey in this scene aren't coming back. She name checks them both, but
okay. I was scared too because I felt like his his goodbye was pretty final, like final enough.
Yes, they did a good job of baiting his death and not actually delivering it because I was terrified throughout the entire episode until they made it to the happy ending. You know.
Yeah. Don't shamble off. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back, survivors. Here's even more of The Walking Dead. All right, let's go to Maggie finding Negan leaving with her rifle. He's apparently going to go sacrifice himself to kill Pamela so that Maggie doesn't have to. And he apologizes to her for Glenn's death. And then Maggie takes the rifle and invites Negan to come with her.
I thought this was good. Like, it didn't occur to me, even though they showed this situation happen, that when Negan was on his knees trying to beg for his life, and then they drag his wife like that, he was literally in the exact same position that he put Maggie in 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I thought them connecting that dots is pretty powerful. And then, you know, I thought his apology, it's like even he knows, it's like, you know, he's in a position for the first time. He knows exactly what is required and what kind of apology he needs. And he knows that there's no way he can give it, you know? I thought it was pretty good. Now, I don't understand why Maggie doesn't take him up on his offer, because his logic is like, I think he's probably right. If they go out there and kill, you know, without the group all helping out, if they go in there and kill Pamela, they both die. There's no way they survive that assassination attempt.
Yeah, they don't really set it up like that, though. I mean,
how do they set it up then?
They set it up as they're pretty far away. Like when we actually get to it and they're looking at Pamela through the rifle scope.
So is
and all
Negan
that,
just wrong? Was Negan just like?
I felt like the way they staged it, he might have been wrong. They needed to stage it where they were maybe closer in or had a harder time getting there, because they just show up inside the gates. There's no indication that it was hard for them at all to get in, which means it may not be hard for them at all to get out. So I felt like he was right in this scene, but then it undercut it later.
That's what I'm saying. Like something has undercut something here.
Yeah. It's not the emotional impact. I think that all hits, and that's all good.
I thought this is dumb anyway. The idea that, hey, Maggie, you and me, we can end this. We don't need anybody else. It's like, well, that's fine. But like, if you kill Pamela in this crisis situation, what if the Colonel takes over and she's worse?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Like, you just don't fucking know.
You just have to start killing down the chain of power, I guess, until you get to somebody who's not an asshole. That's one way to do it. Eugene tells Rosita that she has to teach Coco to swim if she wants her to be confident. I'm not kidding. That's what he says. He realizes that she got bit, and that Rosita got bit when they were trying to climb the downspout. They say, "I love you" to each other, just in the platonic way, no funny business. Then Eugene goes back to sit with Max.
Yeah, this scene kind of got to me. Was the start of the tear jerking. I think Kristen Serratos, is that her name? Has always been kind of underserved, and she's always had gears that to show, you know, because it's such an ensemble cast, and she was such kind of a tertiary figure. They never quite figured out what to do with her, but like they gave her some red meat, and she ate it up, and even made Josh Dermott, what's his name? Josh McDermott. Even made him look good. Because I was just saying that, like, the problem with Eugene's performance is it only works when he's being a buffoon. The second he tries to, like, level with somebody like Max or show some emotion, just the trick, it's like watching a magic trick from an angle that the magician doesn't intend you. It's like you just see all the artifice of it. I didn't feel any of that with this, because I don't know if it's just a history that they've got or whatever, but, like, it fucking worked.
No, that they drop all of his idiotic speech patterns is the thing.
This is true. They
write him like a normal human being for a minute.
I wonder if Nicotero did that as a directing choice. It's like, can we get rid of the $50 Kentucky Fried dialogue and words and you know, using 10 where 1 will do, and just have him be a person. I don't know. I've always liked Rosita. I've always thought she's been underserved, and I thought this was a great you know, her trying to like soak up the fact that she knows she's got a limited amount of time and how she's going to use it. And that part where she said, "You got to pull your shit together," and he's like, "I can't." She's like, "You can, because I'm still right here, and I don't want anybody else to know." I thought that was pretty powerful.
Sure. I find it hilarious that Eugene claims himself a bit of a parent, but he comes up in Coco in the most peaceful possible time for a child's existence, when she's sleeping, and offers to take care of her. Not when she's crying, not to take her off her mother's exhausted hands.
Not you've got to the fun part. Can I jump in here now?
Right. So hilarious. And then Judith wakes up and apologizes to Daryl for not telling him why Michonne left, and or at least I think that's what she means in this scene. I don't know. I'm a little confused by the dialogue here.
Honestly, this is a wild scene, because they set up as Judith keeping the secret to herself just because she's terrified that if she tells her that, like, Uncle Daryl will go off half-cocked and search for Rick and Michonne and leave her. And at the end of this episode, Daryl goes off half-cocked into the world and leaves her. All of your inner fears about adults are correct, children. Never trust them. Never tell them what you're really thinking. They're always going to let you down. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How can you make this be part of the episode and have her be completely abandoned? She has no parents or parental figures left at all.
It's true. The closest she gets, I guess, is Gracie at this point.
Yeah. Or BFF.
Got like a sister. Yeah.
By default, I guess. I like the hey little ass kicker, and her calling him hey big ass kicker. That was really that my heart on that scene.
The Mercer sees Pamela guards shooting people who are trying to get over the gates, decides he's going to go in and help